we got the Pro Series EVO Elite Champions Pro set in our spider web.
Are you ready?
Dude, that's pretty cool. Welcome to the spider web. I'm Agent Spyder, and my mission is to unbox Hasbro's EVO Elite Champions Pro set. I am very stoked to open this pack because that stadium looks so cool. Also, props to the box art team because this looks awesome. So, we see Sword Valtryek, attack type, spins to the right. We have the Valtryek Gamma chip, the Retsu weight, also known as LW04, the Sword layer base, the Sting Pro Disc, also known as D72-P, and the Xtreme Dash Driver, also known as PR-13. Now, looking at Wizard Fafnir, spins to the left and is a stamina type, as expected. So we have the Wizard Gamma chip, the Zan weight, also known as LW05, the Wizard layer base that does indeed have rubber, and a whole lot of it, the Ratchet Pro Disc, also known as the D70-P, and the Rise Driver, also known as PR-14. And it looks like we get two colored launchers. I'm assuming the yellow launcher is a left spin only launcher to match Fafnir, while the blue launcher is a right spin only launcher to match Valtryek. Pretty cool. Alright, let's go ahead and open this box. Well, that was quite easy to get the stadium out. Stadium looks really nice. Looks like the bays and launchers are packed up in here. Alright, so layers are wrapped up in this? And then this. Wow, that's just cool. These look really cool. Alright, the stadium has been set up, and it does indeed look really, really cool. There's nothing way too gimmicky about it or anything, it's just a very basic stadium that just happens to look really cool. As expected, the size of this stadium is exactly the same as the previous Pro Series stadium. The way how they integrated dark gray and dark blue colors into one stadium is just really well done. There are three main pockets for ring outs, and then there's one place that's not necessarily a pocket, but you could consider it as one. Battle ring is very round, very circular, and there is a pretty circular tornado ridge around the stadium ring, so that's pretty cool. The stickers placed within the stadium also match the colors and look very, very good. Overall, really liking the stadium. Now let's move on to the bays. Do keep in mind that the stickers for the bays are hidden within the instruction packet. So you go ahead and open this up. Oh, well. Or you can just wait for them to slide out. Within the instruction packet are also the QR codes and how to put the stickers on the bay. Let's go ahead and go over the parts individually. Starting out with the Sword layer base. Sword is a pretty decent attack type layer base, weighing around 9 grams. The three protrusions definitely have some good attack potential. However, this layer base will take recoil. So when it does land a hit, it does have the potential to take some burst damage itself and or lose some stamina. The base does look really good and definitely matches the whole Valtryek aesthetic. In general, this is a pretty nice layer base to have, but in competitive play may not be the best. Next up we have the Valtryek Gamma chip. Weighs around 2.78 grams and definitely looks really cool. I really like the look of this It does have glitter applications in the chip, so it will look a little sparkly when you look close up to it. It has 2 big teeth on one side and 1 big tooth on the other. So burst resistance is pretty good with this chip in a sense. It will be initially harder to slide the disc prongs past the teeth because the teeth are bigger. However, once the disc prongs actually slide past it, it will get rather easy to burst. That said, this is a pretty interesting chip, and this is a pretty nice one to have in your collection. Next up we have Retsu. Pretty cool name. The Retsu weight is pretty interesting. It weighs around 8.7 grams. And there are 3 hexagons on this weight. As you can see, there's 1 on one side and 2 on the other. The side with the most hexagons indicate that most of the weight is focused on that one side. So this is a off-balance weight. This weight is not as heavy as other weights. So if you want a heavy-hitting Gamma Bay or GT Bay, this weight may not actually be the best. However, for lightweight combos, this may actually be pretty good. Next up we have the Sting Pro Disc, which weighs almost 29 grams. That's very good. Very good for an attack type disc. The cool thing about this disc is that it doesn't just add quite a lot of weight. It has a really cool gimmick where basically when a bay hits this blue ring, it kind of like pushes back and then releases. So it's kind of like a spring attack. It might not be all that effective, as you can see. It's kind of hard to get it going, but maybe that's because it's fresh out of the box, and over time it should get a little easier to move. Even then, a lot of people don't really use this disc for that gimmick. They use it for the weight alone, and the weight distribution is really good, so bays will have quite a lot of balance. It's a good thing this is on sword, because this makes sure that sword isn't way too light for battle and way too easy to knock around. For the driver, we have Xtreme Dash, which is really good for attack types. It's a rubber attack type performance tip, so therefore it will have a tight pattern and stamina will deplete really quickly. However, this driver will allow the bay to move very swiftly and very quickly. And since it's a dash driver, the burst resistance will be really good because the spring is really tight. So on a bay like sword, this should be a very tight fit. Yeah. Woo. Wow. Burst resistance feels absolutely incredible on this. It's so hard to budge. It's actually really, really hard to budge. Man, that's a good driver choice for this one. Whoa. Alright. So, burst resistance on this bay, it seems like it may be really, really good. So, Xtreme Dash is a very, very good part to have. Very competitive. And for the record, it weighs around 5 grams. Next up, we have the Wizard Layer Base. Wizard is not really the most competitive of stamina type bases. However, it has a really cool gimmick. It has a lot of rubber around it. And as you've probably seen over the years, that in a complete standstill with the right parts, Wizard can start spinning. The spin stealing capabilities of this layer base are absolutely incredible, and that definitely helps with increasing stamina and outlasting their opponents. It's just really good in that regard. However, because of the rubber, if it gets hit into the stadium wall, it will take quite a lot of recoil. And against certain bays, it will definitely take a lot of recoil. So burst resistance may not all be that great with this particular ring. For the record, Wizard weighs around 11.5 grams, which definitely isn't that bad for a stamina type. That said, it does look really cool and does have its uses. Next up, we have the Fafnir Gamma chip. The Fafnir chip weighs around 2.6 grams, which may be typical for a lot of chips. And it looks really cool. But I gotta say, the teeth, maybe not that cool. So as you can see, with the stickers on, even without the stickers, this does look really cool. There are some glitter applications in here, but not as much as seen in the Valtrek. The teeth are relatively good in number, but they're very thin, so the disc prongs will not have that hard of a time moving past them, unless of course it's paired with a dash driver. But even then, this is kind of just not way too great compared to a lot of other chips. Yeah. Next up we have the Zan weight. Interesting name. Unlike Retsu, Zan is a lot more balanced in terms of weight distribution. As you can see, there's 2 hexagons, but there's 1 on each side. Balanced weight. Really good for defense and stamina types. It weighs around 8 grams, which actually isn't that bad for a stamina type, because the lighter a stamina bay is, the more it can spin, and therefore the longer it can last. At least theoretically. However, because it's lighter, Wizard will definitely be a little bit easier to smack around the stadium, and you definitely don't want this bay to hit the stadium wall at all. Next up, we have Ratchet Pro. This disc weighs almost 28 grams. Very nice. Not as heavy as Sting, but still very nice. And the gimmick is really cool. The cool thing about this disc is that this light colored ring is free spinning, so when it gets hit by another opponent, it's gonna absorb the impact and rotate. That's really good for defense and stamina bays, because of course you don't want to take damage when you sit in the center. That's really nice. This will definitely be good for taller bays, the battle of smaller bays. There's nothing else really way too special about it besides weight distribution. While not as good, because of course this is kind of just face downwards, it's not off balance, so there's that plus for it. Although I'm pretty sure there are a lot more discs that can do a better job in terms of weight distribution, especially for stamina types. So this may not be a go-to disc, but it is really nice to have in your collection. And finally we have Rise, and Rise is interesting. It weighs around 5 to 6 grams, which is pretty basic for a driver. It's not a dash driver, so the burst resistance on Wizard won't be crazy good. The spring in it is not that great either, so that's another thing. Burst resistance will not be way too crazy. Rise is pretty okay, but there are a lot of other drivers that will do really well on Wizard and much better than this, such as Absorb and Eternal. Rise has a nice little ring around it, and as you can see, the little tip over here is kind of rounded off for stamina. But yeah, other than that, maybe not all too great. The ring's not free spinning, but it does kind of slide around. It's like kind of wobbly. I don't know if that's just a factory thing and it's not supposed to be like that, but that's just how it is for me at the very least. Shouldn't be easy to ring a bay out that has this driver, for the fact that the ring around it is pretty solid. And so when Wizard tilts, it's definitely going to kind of like drift back into position. However, I will say that it may deplete the stamina when that happens, which is not something a stamina type driver should be doing, but it is what it is. This is really nice. I really like this. Burst resistance definitely not as good. Nowhere near as good as the burst resistance on Sword. Nowhere near as good. This burst resistance doesn't feel great at all. But that's as expected, because the driver's not a dash driver and the teeth aren't all that fantastic either. Alright, time for the test battles. I'm gonna give this gold launcher a try with Wizard Fafnir. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. That felt pretty smooth. I'd definitely say this is a really good left spin launcher. And as you can see, Wizard went straight to the center, like a traditional stamina type. Oh, nice. Now let's test out this Spyder launcher. I mean, seriously, it matches the colors of my whole YouTube aesthetic. That's just really cool. Along with the stadium, like, Probably my favorite Pro Series set now. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Wow. Felt really nice, really smooth, and as you can see, Valtrek went a little crazy initially, and now stamina's just gone. As expected. As expected. Let's pit these two bays against each other. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Alright, Valtrek circling, and Wizard just chilling. Okay, there we go. Whoa, Valtrek! Okay, getting some nice licks in. And Valtrek falters to Fafnir. During Fafnir, a survivor finish. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Whoa, Valtrek. Okay. Come on, Valtrek. Push through. You can get the burst. Nah, Wizard. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Whoa, Sword with a very powerful attack, sending Wizard in the air for a little bit. Yep, Rise keeping Wizard in the center, keeping it upright. Well, now it's Wizard stamina, so. Oh, and it won again. So Wizard somehow can defeat Sword rather easily. Well, I guess it's because Sword keeps wasting its stamina zooming around the stadium instead of actually going in and attacking Wizard, and I'm certain that if it actually hit Wizard a whole lot more, it can get a burst. But Wizard definitely seems to be holding on in there. The rubber is indeed absorbing impact, so that's nice. Sword Valtrek versus Soul Balkesh incoming. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. Whoa, Sword with a nice attack. Sword already running very low on stamina. Soul has Eternal, so if Valtrek doesn't get a ring out or a burst, it's gonna lose a lot of these. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. Go Valtrek! Woo! Shaking the stadium. Nice. You see, you can definitely get some good attacks in, but you just can't get the bursts or the ring outs. And Soul wins once again. Judgment Joker. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. Oh. There we go. Sword with the ring out. Well, technically it's a survivor finish. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. Whoa. Ouch. I'll say ring out finish. Ring out finish for Judgment. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Wow. That'll do it. For Valtrek. Oh well. Oh well. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rubber versus rubber. Whoa. Be careful there. Wizard is performing much better than I thought it would. That's Wizard. Barely. But Wizard with the survivor finish. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. Ultimate Reboot just kicked in. Woo! Be careful, Wizard. I believe that was Wizard. Alright, let's get another left spin. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. Stamina mode for Zwei. Ooh. Very close. Very close. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. Oh. Okay. Zwei with the interesting movement. Now it's just wasting stamina, which is not something you want to do. Oh, wait. Very good attack. Zwei with the win. Zwei is in defense mode. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Rip. lot more like stamina mode. But it wins. We gotta do this. We're gonna leave Wizard in a standstill and put it up against a stationary bay to see if it'll actually start spinning. This is a random combo for this test. Chose the Achilles, Vanguard Pro, keep. Can Wizard actually do it? 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. And it wins. Let's try that again. I'm pretty sure it can do better. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Come on, keep spinning. Whoa. And it wins. Wow. That's really cool. Don't even have to launch the bay. It'll just start spinning for you and it'll win. That's fantastic. I just had to see that before we end this off. Mission complete. So, Spyder stats. What do I think of these bays? Pretty nice, pretty nice. They could have been better, but pretty nice. Wizard somehow performed better than Sword, but oh well, it's weird. Starting out with Wizard, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. Spin stealing is incredible. Ratchet's very fun. May not be the most competitive though. And Driver, not that great, but it does the job decently at most. I think an 8 out of 10 is solid for it. Burst resistance could have been better, but it's not bad at all. Not bad. It's very nice to have. Sword about track, maybe a 7. Looks great. Burst resistance is absolutely insane. Disc and driver are excellent, but the layer base not cutting it takes way too much recoil. But then the chip is also really good, so maybe I'm underrating this. Maybe 7.5. It's nice. It got some good stuff about it. Definitely a nice bid to take. Stadium, very solid. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. Who am I kidding? 10 out of 10. It's a very nice stadium. There's nothing wrong with it. Just very easy to put together. Very basic, but that's what it's supposed to be. It's just nice. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with it. It functions like it's supposed to, and it functions very well. In general, this set will get a 8.5 out of 10 from me. Definitely a very nice pick to have. If you don't already have the other Pro Series starter, I recommend getting this over the other one. This one's, I would say it's better. I would say. Although, the other set does have a better valve track, the parts that it comes with aren't as viable as the ones here. And they're probably not as fun as the parts that you get out of this. And we get a fully epic Wizard Fafnir. Fully anime accurate. It's just great. It's great. So yeah, I definitely recommend buying this set. Yeah, one way or another, I definitely recommend buying this set. It's just nice. It's really good. Alright, thank y'all for watching, and keep blading. It's Union Achilles.